and I was agreeing with him, and um I thought he was just mentioning ideas for what we could do when we were together. And I'm very socially anxious, and I didn't feel like I was in a place where uh like I was going to be the one to initiate hanging out with him. But now that I look back on it, that was obviously his attempt to get me to initiate hanging out with him. And yeah, I genuinely just took it as it was. And now I feel really bad because I'm worried that he's thinking that I wasn't interested when had he have said to me, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" I would have said what time, when, you know? I guess it just didn't occur to me to be the one to initiate stuff like that because usually I feel very powerless in friendships and relationships, and I kind of have this, it's not a conscious thing that I think of, but I guess I just have this view of myself as being someone who should be kept out of the way. And that I'm lucky if someone wants to hang out with me at all. And that probably come from years of being bullied. To the point at which I'm amazed when I realize I'm important in people's lives at all. And that got me thinking about the experience I had with the landlord, where I was doing all these little things to piss her off and piss everyone else in the house off. But when I first got there, I actually asked what the rules were for living there. I was like, will I end up waking anybody up at night if I go for a shower at 12 o'clock? What time do people go to bed at? Are the rooms soundproof? What do I have to be worried about? Keeping people awake when I'm pottering around at night because I have insomnia from time to time. How quiet do I need to worry about being? What about the morning time? Is there any times I'm allowed to use the kitchen and not allowed to use the kitchen? Other than the very obvious, don't eat other people's food, which is the only thing I didn't do. I think she didn't. I think I actually managed to piss her off in ways that she couldn't anticipate. So there was no way for her to give me a list of things I shouldn't do. However, there was instances where I asked, "So do I have to be worried about waking people up at night?" And she was like, "No, people everybody here works a night shift, everyone who's living in the house. People work the night shift to get home very late. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about making noise. Just do whatever you like, whenever you like." And same with the early morning thing. A few weeks after, actually, I was there for 4 weeks, so it must have been about week 3 or 4, where she actually mentioned, "Hey, so actually, people, because they work the night shift, are asleep in the mornings, so until noon, be very quiet." And I'd specifically asked her on the day that I came in, should I be worried about waking people up in the mornings? And she said flat out, no. Same way that when I asked, should I be worried about waking people up at night? She was like flat out, no. Those two things came to be a problem later. And I'm just assuming that it was unspoken. And she herself actually recognized I wasn't doing anything that was pissing anybody off on purpose. And a lot of the time when I was told, "Hey, you're doing this thing, it's pissing people off," like lighting incense, and other things was I doing? Just anything I was doing. I did actually stop afterwards once I realized that it was a problem. But I flat out asked what the rules were, and, well, she told me something that wasn't true. I don't know why. And I'm just too autistic for this. And, I don't know. I guess these are just things that most neurotypicals are very aware of. Worst part is I can't hear sound the same way most people do, so I'm not always aware of how loud I'm talking, or how loud anything I'm doing is. Like, one of the reasons cited for me having to leave was the fact that late at night when I was pottering around, I was just letting doors kind of like slam behind me. And that is something I actually really struggle with outside of just the house I was in before. I don't know why. It's kind of made me aware of the fact that I don't get any support for being autistic. And when neurotypicals attempt to support me, what they think I mean is just tolerate my existence. When I do something that pisses them off, just say, oh, she can't help it, and secretly resent me. And in the meantime, which makes me feel like a piece of shit. And I'm tired of living this existence. I'm tired of being disabled. I'm tired tired of the fact that my ex dated me because he saw me as vulnerable and actually seemed to get off on the idea of taking care of me. And I liked the idea of being taken care of, but if that was his primary motivation to get with me, then obviously it wasn't because he loved me. It's because he thought I'd be easily controllable. And he was getting off on all the things I couldn't do because he was a tiny bit higher functioning than I was in certain ways. I'm tired of not being able to control the way people perceive me, which is completely dangerous in the world we live in. I'm tired of being told that I'm just not trying hard enough. I'm tired of the fact that while I was there, Aaron actually went out of his way to tell me that my coping mechanisms were stupid and dumb. I'm tired of the fact that my gender identity is completely up for debate because, I'm tired of people actually also not believing the ways I've had to split myself into personalities to try to maybe hopefully scrape together a version of myself that the world will take kindly to, and also not believing that that's a thing. I've told people I've had personalities. It's a thing I struggle with because of the way that I had to cope in life. And for them to literally turn around and tell me, well, you don't talk different from supposed personality to personality, so you're normal. I'm tired of when I finally get taken seriously for people to start talking to me like I'm a dog. As one thing I didn't actually realize until now was looking back on the way that the landlady was behaving around me. There were instances where I can tell that, she saw that I was struggling, really struggling. And because she also works with autistic children, she had there's just a tone in the way she talked to me, like she saw me as lesser, you know? And I didn't think anything of it because it's not as bad as some of the stuff I've had happen, and it wasn't very often, you know? I'm wondering, would she have said anything to my face if I was normal in her eyes, if I was her equal? Was the way that I was being treated really because she's not just the kind of person who says things directly, or because had she deemed me a human being in her eyes, would she have said these things to my face? I don't really think she would have, but I picked up on something. Something in the way she talked about me. And she was really perceptive. So I thought she was right. I feel like shit. I'm tired of the way that when I get emotional at home, my mom mocks me for it. And I'm tired of the way that I've spent all of my life ashamed for the fact that I'm a person. Of everything that makes me a person. My coping mechanisms, my opinions, my disability, everything. tired. So tired, and I guess somewhere within me, I'm not less sad than I guess I'm angry. I can only really feel the anger now that I'm talking. I fucking angry. I feel like I have any right to be angry, but I I'm annoyed that I can read between the lines in any situation, bar the ones that matter. I hate how I can read between the lines, but only sometimes. I fucking hate the fact that he thought he had a right to do that to me. Sure, he helped me, but he wanted to fuck me. You know? I hate that. I don't know. I needed the help, honestly, but it wasn't done out of the goodness of his heart. You know? And I know that because he said that he was forcing himself to do good things for people so that hopefully he might kickstart his empathy again. I hate that there was all this unspoken tension. I hate that I had to be worried, oh, if I don't screw this guy, will he stick around? Will he keep providing for me? I hate being brought to that place in my life. I hate knowing that that was something I had to do. I hate that. I hate that I have some little opportunities. I hate this. And I hate the way that after the way my life went with the bullying and the humiliation and the disregarding of my needs and all of the brokenness of my existence, the ways that I've shattered and pierced together my identity in order to survive. After all of that, people came in promising me love, promising me a way to feel better about myself. Which obviously is not the case, but that's the way it felt. I don't know if I loved my ex. I just know that I felt for the first time like I was worth something when I was with him. I hate that I became that needy, that people like that could come in and abuse me based upon that weakness that I had. I hate the way I'm so weak. I don't know. You know what, fuck it, I can't sugarcoat anything anymore. I hate that after all of the brokenness of my life, someone who came in and, to my mind, promised me things like worth and self-esteem, as they were going to treat me better. They were going to be there for me. Someone who said things like that to me and also did things like picked up the other end of the phone when I called. Something I kept asking my first boyfriend to do. Someone who listens to me and someone who I felt got me. Not that my first boyfriend doesn't love me, and I love him very much. I hate that after everything, I turned to this person for things like self-esteem, and I really could not get it from any other place. I've been trying really hard to, but it didn't work. It clicked when I was with my ex for some reason. I started feeling good about myself. I hate that that was a lie, and that I built a fantasy world based off of promises. I hate that I believed in something like that. I hate the way that I still had enough hope in my heart to believe in something like that. And it's not my ex's responsibility to make me feel good about myself. I was just so empty. It was just so empty, and it was the first time in my life I felt good about myself. In the beginning, he was so caring. He didn't seem ashamed of me or anything. I don't know if I explained my living situation. But if you've seen anything about it, then I'm sure you'd know I didn't get to this place of dependency on others because I wanted to be. I'm always trying to work myself out of it. There's just very few ways in the world that you can work yourself up out of a bad situation when you get to the point at which you don't have anywhere to live. And some people do it. And those people are very lucky. They're very lucky. And I'm not at that point yet. I worry every day I could be. I worry every day it could get that bad. And I've got nothing to rely on. I'd have nowhere to go.